Finish.
Where are you from?
I'm from Pakistan.
You're Pakistan?
Yes.
Where are you?
I'm in America.
Why?
Because I want to be here.
Why?
Because I choose to.
Why?
Because I choose to. I just answered you.
What makes you choose
What?
here?
Because I chose to be here. I can be anywhere I want. Why
You
not?
have a whole country
Yeah.
that's getting messed up by this
By
religion.
who? By
and you're
Islam? No, no,
escaping.
no. Islam did not mess up Pakistan.
Oh, okay.
And Pakistan isn't
And
messed
it
up.
didn't
Thank you
mess
very
up
much.
Persia, and it didn't mess up Afghanistan,
Persians messed
and
up
it didn't
Persia.
mess
Understand?
up,
No, it did not.
Saudi Arabia,
Islam did not. Islam
and it didn't
defended
mess
and
up
rose.
Egypt,
The Arabian people
and
were
all these
nothing.
massive
You're not listening.
Rulers
You're not
killing each
listening.
other. This
You're
is
not listening.
Islam.
You're not listening.
in
That's not
denial.
Islam.
You're in denial.
You don't read.
You're in denial.
Let
No,
me
I
ask you
see.
something.
I
Okay, let
don't
me
have
ask
to
you
read.
something. Let me
I
ask.
come
Are you
from
gonna listen?
Iran.
I know.
I come
Why are
from
you here?
Iran. Because I hate
You hate
with a
what?
vengeance what Islam has done to my country.
You're a hater then.
No, yeah, I hate
You're
bad
a hater.
ideology.
Yeah.
Bad ideology.
Iran isn't even
kills
run by
people.
Islam.
You know ISIS?
Is it? Yeah, I know ISIS.
kills
Who
people.
created ISIS?
You did.
Who created? I did.
You, this ideology.
I did. I did.
This ideology
I did.
that separates
I created
people.
ISIS.
This
I
ideology,
created
yes,
ISIS.
this one.
Go
This
see what
one.
Donald Trump said, that Hillary Clinton created ISIS and Obama created ISIS. Was there an ISIS before the U.S. invasion of Iraq? Was there?
Yes, it was called
You're an
Al-Qaeda.
idiot. You are an idiot, sir.
an idiot.
I'm sorry. Go read a book and then come back.
Yeah,
There was
ISIS.
no ISIS.
Do you say equivalent
Al-Qaeda
of
separate
ISIS
rules.
any other religion other than
Okay.
Islam?
Was there Al-Qaeda before
Okay.
the U.S.
Do you not
funded
bring
them
back-
to
do you
fight
not bring
in
back
Afghanistan?
bring back the
What
girls?
happened in Afghanistan?
Do you know what happens when Nigeria
Yes,
people
let me
go
tell
and
you. Let me
kidnap
tell you what
people's
happened.
kids?
Boko Haram is a Western invention. Go Google
a
it.
Western
Look it up.
invention.
Okay, who
Okay,
created the
and
Taliban?
9/11
Who created the
was whose
Taliban?
fault?
Who created the Taliban?
You're so full.
Who created the Taliban? Huh? When the Russians invaded Afghanistan, who funded them? That's what I thought. Walk your little doggy. The difference between cleanliness and danger to your children, right?
Okay.
How many cats do you know that have bit off their owners' children's heads?
I don't know about that.
Can you answer my question?
No,
Go ahead.
I don't know of any.
Okay, so
but
now let me just finish.
have a quick
How many
question.
dogs do you know or have you heard of that you've read about
Yeah.
that have attacked their own owners' children?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Many,
So
many.
you see the difference between cats and dogs? It's not just about
Yes.
cleanliness, right?
Yes, yes.
There is an aspect of cleanliness, but there is also an aspect that a dog is created, has certain function in nature.
Right.
He's good at hunting, he's good at defending, he's good at shepherding. So in Islam, for those reasons, you can keep dogs. But when you keep dogs in the house around children,
Yeah.
where you expose them to danger, because a dog's instinct is different from a cat. A cat will never kill your child, right? So you can keep a cat in the. Do you know of any cats killing children?
Baby, cats.
Have you ever heard of a
No,
cat?
no, no.
Have you ever heard of one?
I'm trying to answer.
Sure.
Okay. Cats, when you have a newborn baby, you want to keep cats away from them.
Okay.
Because they'll go for soft parts.
Okay. So now let me ask you the question: have you ever heard of anybody's cat killing their baby?
Oh no, I'm not claiming.
Okay.
I'm not.
So the danger posed by dogs being
Yeah.
in the house is much higher than that of cats, right?
Can I ask my original question now?
Sure.
And I have a question for you. So now I'm curious. Now, I don't know where this is going, but in the Hadith, did they mention? Okay.
Go ahead.
Do they talk about keeping cats in the house in the Hadith?
No.
They don't.
No.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Fair
Take your
enough.
time.
Fair enough. Yeah.
All right.
Can I ask him about a verse, or did you have more to
I have no
ask?
questions. I'm just trying to save these guys. They're looking at a book of darkness, and they're putting Jesus Christ in comparison to a book of darkness. When he saw people stoning a girl, said, "He who is without sin be the first one who throws."
So let's talk about the Bible. You want to talk about the Bible?
Instead of that,
Would you like to talk about the Bible?
This book.
Can I ask my question?
Would you like to talk about the Bible?
No, I don't.
You don't, because you don't want to talk about it, right?
I'm not talking about the Bible.
So you're talking about Jesus. How do you know about Jesus? From the Bible?
No,
How do you know about Jesus?
oral tradition.
Which oral tradition? Who did you speak to learn the oral tradition?
Many people.
Who?
Many people.
And who did they hear it from? Who did they hear it from?
Many people.
Let's see it chained back to Jesus. I didn't think so. I didn't think so, yeah. Why you want to waste your time,
Believe in
bro?
light or darkness?
I believe there's light and darkness, and Allah calls us towards the light. Allah's in the Quran. Allah, can I finish? You see this?
Go ahead.
He's not listening. I'd rather talk to you, but at least you listen. No, I'm listening to you.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
Sorry. Can you give me your opinion? On this about the detailed explanation of all things.
Sure.
So whenever I read a religious text, I'm never clear on how literally I should take a verse or how figuratively. So
Alright,
just
let me read.
what's your opinion on that? Then?
Surah Yusuf, so there are certainly in their stories a lesson for those of understanding. Never was it, the Quran, a narration invented, nor confirmation of what was before it, and a detailed explanation of all things in guidance and mercy for a people who believe. Excellent. So the Quran becomes the basis for all in development of sciences, right? So it's not that, yeah, can I speak to him? Yeah. So what does that mean? Muslim scientists reading the Quran developed astronomy. They developed the development of how the child develops in the womb. I'm sorry?
Oh yeah.
Right? So this means the Quran is a basics of all what is to be learned. It doesn't mean that, for example, how does aspirin work is going to be in the Quran, right? But the development of medicine, the development of space travel, all of those things were in the basis in the Quran. Then the pondering, which is called tadabbur, and research is upon the people to take the Quran from all different sciences, all different realms of life, how to run a society, how to develop space programs, all of that would be, the essence of it will be in the Quran, and then you would develop from there.
Okay, so then when you see a detailed explanation of all things, you're not taking that literally, are you?
We are, but what does that mean, all things?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you.
So that's what I'm
How do you
explaining.
interpret that?
Yes, that means that all the different sciences that will develop, the essence of them will be from the Quran.
Essence.
Right. So for example, algebra, right? Algebra was a Muslim, Musa al-Karzimi, who...
Wait,
Go ahead.
let me digest what you said.
Sure.
The essence of all, so that passage means the essence of all things is found in the Quran.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just trying to see if that's
Sure.
what I'm getting from this passage.
Sure. Take it.
You don't believe it. What do you believe?
Okay, so how are you, that idea, explain more what you mean
Sure.
about the essence of all things.
Okay, so this is the Quran. When we have the Quran, when we study it in a science called tafsir. Okay?
Tafsir?
Tafsir means that you take what the Quran says and how it explains itself. Then we say what the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said about those verses. Then we see what the companions of the Prophet that were there when the Quran was revealed said about those verses. Then we look at the Arabic language and how it's used, because Quran we keep the original Arabic, right? So we look at this and we look at the saying the tabi'un, the next generation, and the scholars who took those sciences and developed the meanings, right? Otherwise somebody could take a verse and take it any way they want, right? So this is what we call the ilm of tafsir. Okay, you with me?
I'm with you, but I think you've gone far
Yeah,
astray
but
from
I'm
that.
trying to explain this. That's
Yeah,
why
I'm not following, I'm not
all right, so that's why I'm trying to ask you if you're with me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not with you then.
All right, so let me take it back again. That's why I'm trying to explain it to you. So this is a verse in the Quran, right? But what does it exactly mean? You could say
there you
to
go.
me it means something else, and he could say it means something else, and he could say it means something else. So as Muslims, we have a science to understand the Quran, right? Unlike what you find in other religious texts,
Okay,
where
don't go there. 'Cause then we're
I'm there.
track.
I'm there.
Okay.
Just stay with me, and you got me.
No,
okay?
no, you're going off on a rabbit
I'm not.
hole.
I'm not.
Can
Just-
I contribute to the conversation?
Sure.
Okay.
You asked me a question. That's why I was
I know,
answering.
and I heard your answer.
Go ahead. No,
and
I didn't
understand
finish
it.
my answer.
Feel my hand?
Can I finish?
Can I
Sure, go ahead.
at least try to be a participant?
Sure.
Can I participate?
Sure.
All right. Thank you. So I want to get back to this because you're starting to talk about developing other sciences and so on. Okay. So a detailed explanation of all things, and you say the essence of understanding all things is in the Quran.
Yes.
And I don't see where that idea of essence is in
Well,
there.
that's what I was trying to explain
Yeah,
to
but
you.
I wasn't
But
getting
you
it.
have to be patient if you want an answer then. Are you going to be patient, or do you want me to?
I'm trying to be, but
But you're not, because you cut me off. So if you just wait until I finish.
I didn't even finish my sentence.
Okay,
You're
finish.
cutting me off right now.
I'm listening.
Okay, I'm trying to be patient, but I saw the conversation. I'm a teacher
Okay.
by nature, right? So I saw the conversation going, and you're looking around.
I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you 100%.
All right.
I'm quiet and
Again,
I'm
a
listening.
teacher. When students look around.
No.
But
When
anyway,
I look, I'm listening. My ears to you.
I saw the conversation going in a way that wasn't going to be helpful, and I tried to get it back to what was going to be helpful for me as the student. Okay.
Excellent.
But go ahead. Now you have the floor.
Okay, when you're a teacher, for example, in a classroom,
Yeah.
the student raises their hand. He doesn't just blurt out, because the teacher may be going somewhere where you don't realize that it's going to come to where you are. And if you're not patient enough to let the teacher finish, you won't understand the answer. Okay? So how I listened to you, I stayed quiet. Even if I looked, I was listening to you, stayed quiet the whole time. If you can give me the same respect that I'm giving you, then you'll get the answer.
Yeah.
You good?
Yep.
So now I'm going to give you the answer if you can just wait till I'm done.
Go for it.
Good.
Yep.
So the reason I went to the ilm of tafsir is to explain to you how I got what I got from the verse.
Okay.
So to do that, I have to explain to you how it works. Otherwise, it's just my opinion. My opinion doesn't matter. Okay? What matters is what is in the science of understanding the Quran. So when we go to tafsir, the science that I told you about, that other texts do not have in that, the reason I said that is because then you can take that any way you want. The reason the Quran is preserved is because of these sciences, to know you cannot take a verse out of context, right? In the books of tafsir, what we know about this verse is what is the meaning of it, what the Sahaba, the companions who were there when the Quran was revealed, explained, is that the essence of all those things that are going to be needed, explanation and guidance for mankind, the essence of all of that is going to be in the Quran. That's what the verse means, and the reason I got that meaning from it is studying the verse in the context of the ilm of tafsir.
All right.
So you got me now?
Question?
Go ahead.
So there, what were you talking about? There's outside texts
Yes.
that are commentaries. Is this the hadith you're talking about?
That's why I just told you the 6 things, right? One of them is the Quran itself. So some verses explain other verses. All right. The second is hadith, where the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, explained the verses. In the hadith, there are authentic hadith and there are weak ahadith, and there are fabrications, and there is a whole science to judge hadith. Like today, somebody says Mark wrote this or Matthew wrote this, but there's no science of judging who those people even were. But in hadith, we have what's called ilm al-rijal. We say, okay, like he said, an oral tradition, right? But in hadith, an oral tradition has to be shown all the way to back to the Prophet. Who heard it from the Prophet? Who were they? How was their memory? Go ahead.
Question?
Go ahead.
Okay. What's the third one? What's number 3?
All right. So after hadith is the saying of Sahaba, those companions that were physically there when the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. So they tell us that this verse was revealed about a time of war. This verse was revealed about a time of peace. This verse was revealed about the scientific development or whatever else. So that is the sayings of the Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Okay.
I'm going to go on to the 4. Go ahead. Okay.
Job in Arabic. Who is a job in Arabic?
Yaqub.
Yaqub. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
What's the 4th?
There we go. So the 4th is sayings of the tabi'un. Those,
Sorry, who?
Tabi'un, Tabi'un. Okay.
Can I ask what's that?
Yeah, so I'm explaining. So tabi'un were the students of the Sahaba, right?
Okay.
So when the companions were physically there, when the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, the Prophet spoke to them, they had students who learned from them, right? So they would say that I learned, for example, from Ibn Abbas, who was physically there when the Prophet explained this verse, and he understood it this way. So those are also evidences. Now, of course, I'm going in a hierarchy, right? If the Quran explained the Quran, that's the strongest. If the Prophet explained it, that's the second. If the Sahabi explained it, that's the third. If the Tabi'i explained it, that's the 4th level of credibility, right? And then after that, you have the Arabic language itself.
Okay, that's number 5, right?
That's number 5. You're a great student, taking notes
Really?
and everything. Seriously, I'm
I
telling you.
didn't feel that way about 5 minutes ago.
Why not? It's all right.
All right. Okay.
right.
Arabic language. And
Arabic language itself, right? Because Allah says in the Quran, "Inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyya." The Quran was revealed in the Arabic language, right? So then sometimes we need to look at the grammar, right? Unlike what you find, for example, the original writings of Jesus were not in Koine Greek. That's the earliest ones we have. But we have the original Arabic Quran. So sometimes from the language itself, we will understand the verse.
And then what's
Number 6, no problem. Number 6 is the work of the scholars for 14.5 centuries based on these 5 sciences. So we go back to what the people who dedicated their lives to understanding the Quran and see what they said in the light of these 5 sources, and we go back to the work of those scholars to understand the verses.
All right.
See, we got there, right?
So we listed those 6. Okay. All right. Okay. So let me see if I understood the way you
Sure.
described that verse then.
Sure.
So the Quran provides an explanation of the essence of how things work in the universe? Would that be a fair way?
Not just that, right? Not just that. Everything what the Quran tells you, everything for guidance and mercy for mankind, right? So those things that we would need for guidance, right? We need to know, for example, how to live with each other, how to govern with each other, what's right and what's wrong, what's your right, what's my right, as a neighbor, what rights you have. The Quran gives you that, right? To gain the mercy from Allah, right? How should you pray? How should you fast? It's not just like, okay, me, I'm going to go for confession, I'm going to go kneel like this, I'm going to go do like this. No, the Prophet showed us, the Quran told us about the 5 prayers and about how to fast in Ramadan and how to perform Hajj. The essence of that will be in the Quran, and then the detailed explanation of that will come to the other sources, right? So the Quran, go ahead.
That goes against what that verse says, though.
It's not, yeah, so let me, this is what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Let me tell you.
So it says, never was it, the Quran, right? So if we just jump, it says the Quran was a narration.
Let's read the whole verse.
Hang on.
Okay.
Hang on. Okay. The Quran, a narration. So the Quran is the detailed explanation, not
Sure.
It doesn't talk about or even allude to those other 5 levels of study.
Okay. So you finished? I want to make sure I give you the respect you deserve. Okay. So when we study the Quran, we don't take a verse out of context. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, we reveal the Quran and a hikmah and a wisdom with it.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Allah says He revealed the Quran and a wisdom. Right?
I'm sorry.
Sure.
The noise is a little distracting, and I have a stuffy nose. So
no problem.
One more time. The Quran.
Allah revealed and with it a wisdom.
Okay, it was revealed and with it a wisdom.
Right.
Okay.
In another verse, Allah says that to the Prophet ﷺ to teach them the Quran, right? So they can understand it. Understand? So what this tells you that there was certainly in their stories a lesson. In whose story? The story of Yusuf alayhi salam and other that are in the Quran. For those of understanding, those who tadabbur, who contemplate on it, right? Never was it, the Quran, a narration invented. Like you were saying, somebody wrote it down. That's not the way it worked, right? The Quran was from Allah, but a confirmation of what was before it, meaning the earlier scriptures and what they had in the truth of it was in the Quran as well. What was changed out is left out, obviously, because it's preserved and those were changed, right? Before it. And a detailed explanation of all things, right? For what is going to come, and a guidance and a mercy for people who believe, right? So this is a verse that tells you that all explanations of things to come that are needed for guidance and mercy will be in the Quran. Now when we take that verse...
I think you did a little... Sorry, I have a question.
Go ahead.
It seems like you did a little bit of a...
I just read it.
No. You said you inserted a clause though.
No, I didn't.
No, you said things that are needed for guidance, right? You slipped in a little.
All things and guidance and mercy for the people who believe.
No, just your syntax there. You slipped in a little.
So let me read it again.
A little commentary.
All right.
Yeah.
But a confirmation of what was before it.
Yep.
And a detailed explanation of all things.
Yep.
And guidance and mercy for a people who believe.
There you go.
Right? So now this...
I'm sorry, that's just not how you presented it. I just wanted to clarify.
Maybe you misunderstood the way I read it.
Oh, no.
Okay.
You totally said that are needed for guidance. It just sounded like... Anyway, you just...
Did I read it right now?
You read it correctly that time.
Okay, so should we continue?
Yeah, go for
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
So now we know that there is an explanation of everything that's needed in the Quran. But we also know from other verses that the Prophet's responsibility was that wisdom to bring to understand the Quran, right? For example, the Quran tells you aqimus salat, to establish the prayer, right? But how will you pray now? Right? That we know from the hadith, right? That's why the Quran tells you ati'u Allah wa ati'u Rasul, right? Obey Allah and obey His Messenger, right? Obeying Allah, you take the Quran. Obeying His Messenger are the ahadith. That's how we know the Messenger is not here with us today. You see what I'm saying? So when you take the verse in the light of other verses, that's how the ilm of tafsir comes. Otherwise, if you take anything out of context, if you take a verse by itself, you will not understand the depth of it. Do you understand now?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
I got that.
I'm glad we're clear. Anything else?
What else were we talking about? I can't remember. This was it. This is made. That
good.
verse is why I stopped.
I'm glad you're reading it. I'm glad you're trying to understand it. And again, if you want to sit and learn Arabic or learn the Quran, I'm more than willing to give you the time to sit down with you and explain things in detail, as long as the intent is honest and which I see you to be.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm thinking. I don't think so.
Huh? If you do, come back.
That's the main why I stopped by.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
How's your reading going?
Huh?
How's the reading going?
It's slow because I'm still reading. I'm reading Japanese literature right now, so
Nice.
I'm trying to get to the Quran, but I'm reading a lot about Zen.
Nice.
Zen philosophy right now. So yeah, so it's going slow.
No, slow.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for not filming me. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you.
Take care.